How much money did you sell your business for?
$37 million in 2017. My goal wasn't to get rich. My goal wasn't to sell my business for $37 million. So I pretty much try to do that with anything that I'm involved in. Try to give people more than what they're expecting. If I lost a customer that I made $10 a year off, it affected me. And I wanted to know why. Training, getting people involved, and awareness. That's what made my company great. Once you can successfully do that, it becomes a lot easier to market to people.
I flew all the way down to Miami to interview Max Lewis, who wrote probably one of my favorite books. You are gonna love this podcast and you will not wanna miss it. I wanna start this off at the time when you first started your business. How did you come up with the idea and how did you test out the idea to see if it was gonna work?
I came up with the idea because there was someone who was in need of the service. I used to refill those propane tanks at a propane station. And a gentleman kept coming in and asking if we delivered them, and the answer to that question was no, and pretty much no one was really delivering them at that time. And so I saw the opportunity, and then I created, a little business plan and executed. So I saw an opportunity and took action.
So let's say you were starting a business today. How do you think you'd come up with the idea? And then how do you think you'd validate that idea after to make sure that it could be a successful business?
Well, it all depends on what industry you're in.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I would do would be, studying the marketplace, studying the competition, seeing what the customers want, and then trying my absolute best to meet and exceed their expectations. So if they want 5 things out of a service, hopefully I could give them those 5 things plus an extra 3 or 4 more that they weren't even expecting, which would increase their sense of value. Like, wow, I'm getting a tremendous value. So I pretty much try to do that with anything that I'm involved in. Try to give people more than what they're expecting so that you can gain their loyalty, their trust, and their business.
How would you find those people, and how would you know what else to give them, like how to exceed their expectations?
You have to study it, man. You have to study everything. It depends on what business it is.
Yeah.
And depending on the business, then you're going to find your customer. And once you've found your customer, you need to ask them questions and study that market and see what it is that they're looking for exactly. Don't assume. Ask questions, ask the right questions.
Right.
Take note of those answers and then do your best to, again, meet and exceed their expectations in whatever that industry is.
What do you think some of those questions would be?
I'll give you an industry.
Let's say I want to start a car washing business.
Okay, car washing, familiar with this one. So, are you going to be mobile or are you going to be on site? Mobile. Okay. So if you're mobile, I would say right off the bat, without asking anybody any questions, I know that convenience is going to be a big factor.
Yeah.
People that want their car washed at home are more likely they're more willing to pay more money for a service like that because they want the convenience. And it's usually going to be based around their schedule. So I would keep those things in mind. And again, just every time I talk to a new customer, I'd ask them what exactly is important to you as my customer. Oh, I want to make sure that you're here every day at 7 a.m. Or I want to make sure that my car is waxed every time you come. Or I want to make sure that you put me on a schedule and you come every 2 weeks or every week or every 3 days. You need to find out in that particular industry what that customer wants and then make sure you execute. Some people like silicone on their tires, some people don't. Some people like air freshener, some people don't. Some people want you to check their tire pressure, some people don't. Or don't care.
Yeah.
So you need to ask all these questions and then do something about it. Make sure that you're giving them exactly what they want and more if possible.
Yeah. So what do you think would be some of the biggest mistakes that not just young entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs in general make when they're first starting out their business?
Some of the mistakes that I have seen, well, I would say one of them is not asking questions, not putting themselves in the customer's shoes, using cheap things and thinking that people are going to like it. I have a line in my book, if it looks cheap to you, it's more than likely going to look cheap to the people that you're trying to impress. So using quality things, giving quality service, that's universal. Like people can recognize something that's made out of good material or something that has been done with that little extra effort. So when you're providing a service or having a business or selling something, you want to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You know, you want to give people what they want, and you want to, it's got to be nice, man. It's got to be good. It's got to have value. You know, not many people want the cheapest of everything, the crappiest of everything. They want quality. You know, so trying to just, again, put yourself in the customer's shoes, I think is a very valuable lesson. It's a very valuable tool. Once you can successfully do that, it becomes a lot easier to market to people, because you're like, okay, if it was me, what would I want? What would I want to do? So for example, I could give you an example. So these cups, I used to have these really cheap plastic cups that I used to give out in my business with a squirt bottle, and it cost me $1. And we'd buy them in bulk and give them to people. And one day I was using one of those squirt bottles myself, and I realized that they sucked.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't hold ice very long. They sweat a lot. They were kind of cheap feeling, you know, plasticky, whatever. And when I used the product, I said, wow, this is horrible. This is why I don't really see anybody with these cups, and why nobody really cares when you give them one.
Yeah.
So I did more thinking, and I said, you know what is a badass cup? Yetis are badass cups. So I switched the product from a $1 product that I used to give away to a $40 Yeti cup, which is crazy because it's a huge increase in cost.
Yeah.
But once I did that, people really started valuing this cup that I gave them, and the cup was branded with my company logo and information on it.
Yeah.
But people really valued it. And I'm talking about, this is probably 2016, so Yetis were still $40. You know, now you could probably get them cheaper on Amazon, but we're talking about 7 years ago. 8 years ago. They were still $40, but when I gave them to people, they were really excited about it. Really happy about getting this $40 gift, and they would hold on to these cups for a very long time, and I benefited from the branding, and people liked it and appreciated it.
Yeah.
So that's just a good little example of like, okay, I bought the cheapest thing and I gave it out, but then when I was on the receiving end, so to speak, when I was using the product, I was like, man, this product sucked. Now, if you were to give me Samuel Games Podcast, a Yeti that said Samuel Games Podcast, I would keep it. Why? Because it's valuable. It's a good cup. You know, I use it. I take it on my boat, or you know, have it here in my house. So that's just an example. Like, put yourself in the customer's shoes, or try to get in that mind frame of like, okay, if it was me or whatever, you know, that is a very valuable skill and tool that you can use to increase your business sales, profit, reputation, all of the above.
Yeah, and something that I realized a couple weeks ago is that customers, they don't remember how they pay, or I mean, how much they paid. They just remember how good the product was, and if they like the product or not. Like I bought this coaching program, and the guys like they honestly didn't do a very good job, but because of that, they ended up refunding me. So because I technically paid $0, I got way more than like what I put in. So technically, it was a really good deal. But if somebody asks me, how did I like the program? All I'm gonna think of is them not doing a good job.
That's a big thing for me, like especially when I was running my business. My main thing was customer satisfaction.
Yeah.
I wanted people to be happy. You know, at the time that I sold my business, I had 6,500 customers. So a lot of customers. And they all ranged in size, right? So I had people that I make $10 off of every year, and I had people that I made a couple $100,000 off of every year. But I'll tell you, if I lost a customer that I made $10 a year off of, it affected me. It bothered me. And I wanted to know why, and I wanted to make it right, and I was constantly investigating. So if I heard, oh, you know, Sam is changing from our company to someone else's, and it's a small account, no big deal. No, to me it was a huge deal. I was like, well, why? Why is he changing? What happened? Was it a service issue? Was it a product issue? Was it a price issue? I need to know, right? So at that stage, I didn't really have contact with all the customers, but I trained my staff to find out and then do anything we could to make it right. Because I didn't want that kind of bad reputation floating around, right? So I'd rather, even if it was a customer that I only made $10 a year off of, I'd spend $100 or $200, $300, $400 to make them happy.
Yeah.
Because my reputation was more important to me than the $10, and keeping people happy was more important to me than that $10. You know, and that's, I think, a thing that a lot of people don't really put a lot of importance on, and I always did, but because of that, I retained a lot of business. And you don't know, maybe that lady only made $10 off of her, but let's say I spent $300 making it right, making that person happy, and then tomorrow she recommends me to her friend, and I make $5,000 off that guy.
Yeah.
Right? So that goodwill, that reputation is more valuable, at least to me it was, than making money. Money was like a reward. But keeping people happy, keeping people wanting to do business with me, that was like my main objective.
Yeah, and I love that mindset of just like being pissed off when a customer leaves you. Like, I think you should be pissed off because they might say something that makes your reputation worse.
If I lose $1 at work, you know, it would bother me. I'd be like, well, why? Why are we losing? You know, that doesn't make sense. I need to know the information. Getting that information oftentimes is very good, because that information I could be like, wow, if it's happening to this small account, maybe it's happening to our big accounts. Let's fix it. You know, whatever it is, you know, let's fix that problem. Or, oh, that's actually, it's insightful. Let me do some research, you know. So all those like negative experiences, it can be made into positive experiences and things that you can grow and learn from and make more money from if you're doing it the right way and if you care. A lot of people don't care. So for me, I really care. Again, my goal wasn't to get rich. My goal wasn't to sell my business for $37 million. When I started my business, my goal was exchange propane tanks for people. I want to make $100 a day. And what I noticed was people liked the service, so they were happy, and that made me happy. The money was just kind of like, you know, like an afterthought.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And I think your customers, when you feel like that, when you do things out of a good place, like in your heart, like you feel like I'm just trying to do a good job, I want, you know, the customer to feel good and happy and taken care of, that translates. They feel that, you know. I'm sure you've gone to different businesses that you feel like, man, these people really care, man, they're so good. Oh, that guy gave me a free cup of coffee or whatever. It's like, they charge for coffee, but he gave me free coffee.
You can feel the opposite as well.
Right. Yeah, you can feel the opposite as well. But, you know, and that's true. Definitely, it's a big issue for a lot of businesses. I think a lot of them are messing up because they're not paying attention to that. But yeah, when you create that like energy in your business and people feel that, they see it and they sense it, and maybe they don't even realize that they're, you know, that they feel a certain way or happy or whatever, but they, you know, it is real. It is real. When you have the best intentions, people feel it.
Yeah, so the best way to do that is basically just ask your customers as many questions as possible and really cater to their needs rather than your own.
Right, that's what it's all about. Starting a business isn't about you making money.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's about keeping your customers happy. As a result, you make money. You know, like the people that I know that are just, I want to make money, I feel like it's harder for them to make money than people who are trying to please their consumer. You please the consumer, money comes. You're only focused on money and penny pinching and shit like that, penny pinching, then, you know, your business will suffer.
Getting customers to refer you is such a huge part of business. Do you have anything else that you do to get referrals other than simply just making your customers happy?
I mean, that's a big part of it.
Right.
But also asking for them is a big part of it too. Because I think if you do a great job, people naturally have the tendency to recommend you. But also, you can ask. Like, you know, you get what you ask for, they say. So if you're doing a great job with a customer and you know you're doing a great job with a customer, don't be scared to ask them for a referral, you know. I think that could definitely go a long way. You could get a lot of business that way.
The way I see it is your customers aren't thinking about your business all day. Like even though they might love your business, they're not thinking about you. Right. Like I wear the same vest every day because I love it. Right. But I'm never thinking about how much I love the brand and how much I want to tell my friends about it. Right. But if they simply just sent me an email asking me to tell a friend, I definitely do that.
If it's me, if I'm the vest company, I'll ask for that referral.
Yeah.
But then I'll also look for a way that I can get you to not only refer my business, but have the consumer be happy and benefit some way from it, right?
Oh yeah.
So for example, let's say I buy Lululemon clothes. I have like literally $10,000, $20,000 worth of it. It's crazy. But if Lululemon were to send me an email, hey, would you recommend Lululemon to someone? In an email, I probably wouldn't. In person, I do it all the time,
Right.
right? But in an email, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't forward it to somebody or anything like that. I probably wouldn't do that. Now, if they came up with some type of incentive for me, like let's just shoot in the wind here. Let's say they told me every 10 people I recommend, I'll get a $100 gift card, right? And if that has to be documented, right?
Yeah.
I recommended these 10 people to Lululemon, and I got them to, I don't know, log on to their website or go in person to a store, some version of that. If they did that, then I would say, okay, I need to start documenting who I'm recommending, because I told Sam this morning to buy a jacket. I told this girl at the coffee shop that she should get a sweater. You know, if I'm gonna say, well, every time I do this, I'm gonna get $10. Like, I'm gonna start taking it seriously because I'm gonna benefit, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people miss the mark. You want to think, again, like I was telling you, put yourself in the consumer's shoes. I've recommended Lululemon to 1 million people.
Yeah.
1 million, like literally. I recommend it to everyone. But not to a degree where I'm like really concerned if they get Lululemon or not. It's like,
Right.
I think you really should buy it. And a lot of people, when I tell them to buy it, they do. But, you know, the way I would look at it is like, how do I turn my customer into a salesperson now for me? Right?
Yeah.
That's how I grew my business. I turned my entire staff into salespeople. You know, pretty much everybody was incentivized in some way or shape or form to bring business into the company. And I would tell my customers also, you know, there's others say, hey, recommend this guy, we're gonna hook you up with this or whatever. So I would think of it like that. Like, okay, if I want people to recommend it, that's great. But how could I incentivize them and really give them something that they're gonna value and say, you know, if I give them $100 for every 10 people, you know, and if they, you know, log in and give me these email addresses, well, what are the chances of one of those 10 people spending $100 in Lululemon if I go to that extent? It's pretty good.
Very nice.
It's pretty good. And if you're like me, you don't spend 100 when you go in, you spend 1,000. So, and I think a lot of Lululemon customers have a lot of disposable income. So, I think it'd be a no-brainer. Now, does that mean it would 100% work? Maybe not. But you test it. You test it. And you see what happens. You come up with this program. Hey, you get $100 if you refer 10 people and all 10 email addresses come, whatever. And let's say you do that for 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, a month. And if you see there's a great return and a whole bunch of people have signed up and sales have gone up, do more of it. Do more of it. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. Do something else. But you test things like that, you know? So I think that's a very valuable tool as well in business, is being willing to take chances and test things.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to test things out. You can't be scared, and you can't just stick to one way of doing things or copy someone else and think it's going to work out for you. You know, everybody has to do their own thing, or should do their own thing, and you have to be willing to test, fail, and that failure is good because failure is information.
100%.
When you get that failure, if you have that failure, when you have that failure, you get the info, what happened, what do I need to do better next time, and you go do it.
Do you think there's like a certain type of business that is best for beginners? Or do you think the best business would just be something that you love doing?
Not really. I think I just go for it.
Yeah.
You know, if I identify something as something of interest that I think I should explore, I'll just explore it. What I don't like to do is waste any time.
Right.
I'll do it like now. Like I like to make decisions quickly. Ask 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, whatever. Let's try it now. Let's test the tape. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, sometimes you get a lot of weird answers from people when you ask questions. Like, you know, if you're in the restaurant business and you stand by the cash register, let's say if you're like a burger shop or something, you could ask, let's say you ask the next 20 people who get in line, if they'd like to see onion rings on the menu,
Yeah.
and maybe 10 of them say yes, and the other 10 say no, and maybe one guy says he wants to see, like donuts or so, like this random crap that you're like, what the hell? These answers suck.
Yeah.
But you could get like an overwhelming amount of yeses, put it on the menu, and it might suck. Like people might not want it. It could have just been you asked the wrong 20 people.
Right.
But you have to find out, because if you're hearing that feedback, maybe it could go the other way too. What if you put onion rings on the menu and now everybody wants onion rings, right? It becomes this big thing because man, I never thought about onion rings. We should have been selling onion rings this whole time, but we never asked anybody if they wanted to see onion rings on the menu. So just an example.
Even if the customers you ask don't really give you a good answer, it's still better than nothing. It's better than just like shooting a shot in the dark.
Or for example, you could ask questions like, so now we won't use onion rings as an example, but let's say you were selling this cup and you walked up to me and you said, hey, I'm selling this cup for $10. Would you like to buy it? And I say, no, I wouldn't, thanks. Have a nice day. You say, well, hold on a second. Well, is there any particular reason why you wouldn't want to buy the cup? And I say, well, Sam, I wouldn't buy the cup because it's black and I actually really like yellow. And you say, well, I have a question. If I were able to get this cup in yellow, would you buy it then? And I say, actually, I think I would. How much is it? $10. Okay, 10. Perfect. Can I get your information? Go get the yellow cup and then come sell it to me.
Yeah.
You get it? So I just turned a non-customer who's going to walk away into a customer by asking, why would you not buy it? He gave you the answer. I want a yellow cup. I say, if I get a yellow cup, will you then buy it? Sure, I would.
Yeah.
Now it's your job to do what? Go get a yellow cup and sell it to me. Right? Get my information, whatever. Say, I'll be back here Tuesday. I'm going to bring you a yellow cup. You're going to love it.
Yeah, that's so true. So if you were starting out in business right now, like you were a young guy just getting into business, what do you think would be the first 3 things that you would do?
I don't know. It would all depend on what I want to do. I think people ask me a version of that question all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't really have an answer. There's no blanketed answer for everyone.
Right.
Everyone has different interests. I mean, there's a million different professions and ways to make money. So I would have to do some looking inward for myself and decide, what stage of life I'm in, what do I have the energy for, what do I want to do, what's exciting to me, and pick something and then pursue that. So for example, let's say at this stage of life, I have plenty of, you're saying it as a young person. I don't know, when I was younger, I wanted to be a chef.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of money in being a chef unless you're Gordon Ramsay or someone who's made it very big. Typically chefs, at least at normal everyday restaurants, they don't make a whole lot of money. It's very hard work. Had I known that when I was younger, I wouldn't have ever even have considered it, because I'm telling you, it's brutal. But again, I would just do that. I'd do an exercise. Okay, what do I like? What do I want to do? What do I not want to do? And then once I narrow down my focus to, what kind of business I'm in, or what kind of business I want to be in, or what kind of business interests me, I start to do research, and I start to align myself and get in the room with people who are doing that. So if I wanted to sell cars, I'd start asking around, who sells cars? Oh, my uncle, my friend, whatever. Go hang out with them, have lunch with them, ask them some questions. What should I do? What should I not do? How much money do you make in this? What can I expect, to earn? Or what do you not like about selling cars? Gather information, and if you're okay with the downside, go for it. Go for it. Give it a shot. If you don't like a lot of the things that they're saying, you're like, actually, I don't think that's going to be for me. Okay, maybe go back to the drawing board and find something that you actually want to do. Right? Yeah. So one of the things that I know for a fact, if I had to start over today, me personally, knowing what I know, I'd probably be a realtor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably be a realtor, because I really like real estate. And you can make large commissions without investing any cash. Okay,
Yeah.
you can get a couple listings by basically sweet talking people, getting a couple $1 million listings, make nice commissions, and get a quick buildup of capital. And then with that money, I would invest it into real estate,
Yeah.
and pretty much live the life that I'm living now. Hopefully, if I made enough good moves,
Right.
So I like that business. I like real estate. I like analyzing real estate. I think I have a good eye for seeing what's valuable, what's not, So I enjoy it. I can talk real estate all day long. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I could work on Saturday on real estate. Doesn't bother me. I could be looking. Last night I was looking at properties at 1:00 in the morning on my iPad. It didn't feel like work. So those things are like a good sign for me. Like, I think I'd have fun in this industry. It wouldn't be like a drag.
Yeah.
Now, if you told me go wash dishes at 1:00 in the morning on a whatever Monday, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd want to be a dishwasher. Buying, selling real estate, renting properties. I have a lot of fun with it, so I will pursue that.
Do you think there's like a certain type of business that is best for beginners? Or do you think the best business would just be something that you love doing?
At what level do you understand business? Are you like lemonade stand? I know how to buy and sell. I know how to do the math on how much the lemons cost me and how much the cup costs me and how much it costs me to fill a cup this much with lemonade and the sugar and all that stuff. Do you know how to market it? Are you just putting a sign? Are you walking out to people asking them if they want to buy lemonade? Like, where are you in this journey? I think that's very important.
Yeah.
If you don't know any of that, if that is like, okay, I don't even know how I would sell lemonade. Well, then I'd say, try to find something simple
Yeah.
and work your way up. If you're already pretty sharp, maybe look for something a little bit more advanced. Where you're already past the lemonade stand. Okay, well, let me maybe try to sell cars. It's hard to sell. It's a little harder to sell a $40,000 car than it is to sell a dollar lemon.
Yeah.
The underlying principles are the same.
Something I really admire about you is the fact that you have really high standards for pretty much everything in your life. So I'm just wondering, why do you have such high standards? And
Go ahead.
yeah. So I'm just wondering, why are you that way?
I don't know. I just don't feel like I should accept less. Like why settle for less than what you want or what you feel like you deserve or what you feel like you should be giving someone.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason that drives me crazy. Like if I feel like something's 99% of the way there and it could be 100, I want it to be 100. I always feel that way. I like the perfection. I like to feel like things are done. There's other areas where I accept less than perfect, but that's like knowingly. So for example,
Right.
let's say if I was going to run a business myself, and since I'm running it myself, I know for me it's going to be 100, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to run this 100%. I'm going to do everything that needs to happen, whatever. That's going to take a lot of energy out of me. Maybe that'll come with some satisfaction.
Yeah.
But at this stage of my life, maybe I don't want to run a business all the time and know that it's 100%. Maybe I want someone else to run the business, and I train them, and they do a very good job. It's not what I would do, but it's 90%. Okay? That 90% is acceptable if that means I can be in the Bahamas
Yeah.
or fishing or on a vacation in Europe and someone else is running the business, right? Like that, I think that's a pretty good trade-off. Would you rather work and be like, oh, everything's perfect, I'm here every single day, or that guy's working, I'm gonna go play golf, have a nice day. In those types of scenarios, I'm okay with it's not absolutely perfect as long as it's in the 90s,
Yeah.
But I'm just like that, man. I'm just like that. I like things to be done well, and I'd like them to be done to my standard, and I don't like to accept less because other people maybe don't want to give 100, or they don't want to rise to my level. If they don't want to rise to my level or do things to my standard, it's not a problem. I just get different people.
Right.
It's not that I'm mad at them. It's not that I don't like them. It's like, listen, this is what I'm doing, and if you want to operate on my level, come aboard. If you don't, go somewhere else. I wish you the best. But and I'm speaking for myself, for me, I like things done the way that I like them. I sleep better knowing that things are done the way that I like them to be done. And I don't sleep very well at all if things aren't being done to my standards.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why your business was so successful. Just because you had extremely high standards for it and only settled for what was perfect. So what did that look like while running your business?
In what sense? What do you mean?
Like what, let's say with your employees, for example, like what did having high standards look like?
There's a million things that are happening in a business, especially a business the size of the one that I had before I sold it, every single day. There's a million things happening.
Yeah.
And what I have noticed, what has rang true for me,
Yeah.
is that it's not one thing that you need to have high standards on and forget everything else. It's a million little things, and they all add up to the idea, the way the business runs, the way the culture of the business is. All the things matter. Okay? Are the bathrooms clean? They should be. Or is the toilet paper filled all the way up? Yeah, it is. If we have a kitchen, is the kitchen clean? Like, all those things. Are the floors swept? Is that clean? Is there garbage on the floor? Are these people walking around with stains on their shirts? Are the trucks dirty? Like, all these little things that you, or at least I, have standards for, add up to become one big, beautiful thing.
It's true.
You know, when you walk into a business and the floor is clean and the bathroom's clean and the trucks are clean and the guys are dressed nice and the girls are dressed nice and they have great attitudes, that's a million things. It's not one thing. It's not like I walk in and I'm like, hey, we have high standards for this. Forget about everything else. No, dude. Have a standard for everything. How should it be? How do you want it to be? What's the message you're trying to get across to your staff and to your customers, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's a million little things, but that all adds up. So if you're very focused on every little detail of your business, at least the ones that should be focused on, I should say, you come up with something nice. You know, something nice comes of it. But you can't just have like a high standard for one thing and then forget about the rest.
It's like the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
So for example, I'll give you an example. Like when I first got back to my company, when I got it back, I remember I was walking by the kitchen and I saw blue cups, plastic cups.
Yeah.
Blue cups, red cups, some cups bigger, some cups smaller. Half a bag of cups open. Bag of cups completely closed. Like little coffee cups all around.
Yeah.
A little bit of spilled coffee. Soda can. You know, it was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess, dude. And I walked by it and I looked at it and I said, oh, hell no. You know, like, this is not happening in my business. It's a little thing. I stopped what I was doing, because I was doing something. Grabbed my staff, I called my staff, like 30 people. Hey, everybody, gather around, let's talk about this. Look at this, right? So I got 30 people crammed into this little kitchenette area. Like, what do you see wrong with this? I obviously know what I see wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm asking them, what do you see wrong with it? You start hearing, there's coffee spilled. That's one thing. What else? It looks a little messy. Okay, it looks a little messy. What else? One bag is open and one bag is closed, and the bag that is opened wasn't even finished, and they opened another bag. Yes. What else? One cup is blue, one set of cups is red. One cup is big, the other cup is small. Boom, boom, boom. They're all spitting out their answers. Right? So I'm teaching them how to observe this little kitchenette area. Right?
Yeah.
They're all giving me answers. They're all working as a team. We're working together. We're working on this project right now. This is what's happening right now. We're working on this. Guys, let me tell you what I think. I think we should pick one cup size. The big one. It should be red. I like red.
Yeah.
It should go here organized. You should use a full stack of cups before opening another bag of cups. Any extra cups should go in the storage closet. Let's not have 500 cups out here for no reason. If coffee spills, let's wipe it down. if there's, organization, blah, 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 we went over the whole thing. Don't you guys agree? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it did look a lot better. Boom, boom, boom. Now, what did I accomplish there? First, I'm telling them I have standards.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not going to just throw shit around here and make a mess in my company. Not going to happen. Number two, I'm training them to look for stuff that's wrong, right? That could be improved on. Number three, I just created accountability with all 30 of those people with everyone else. So now if I walk there and I put a blue cup here and I make a mess, whatever, anyone else who walks by is going to be like, hey, didn't we have a meeting about that? I don't think Max wants that like that. Or they'll fix it themselves or whatever.
Yeah.
But now everyone's on it and they're paying attention to it and they say, this is a standard, we're doing this, and what's the reason we're doing it? Because we want to be clean, we want to be organized, we don't want roaches coming out because you left food and coffee everywhere. There's so many reasons.
Yeah.
But now because I took that little 5-minute break and explained it to them, explained this is how I want things, does anybody have a better idea? Maybe they do. Oh yeah, I think we should put it on the top shelf. Man, you know what, guys, great idea, Sam. Let's put them on the top shelf. That kind of, training, getting people involved and awareness, that's what made my company great. Getting them involved, showing them a standard, creating a standard, and then, hey, let's all keep it going. Because if it's just me who walks by the kitchen and organizes and fixes everything, guess what's going to happen tomorrow? It's going to be a mess again. Right?
Yeah.
But now by getting them all involved and getting them all to see and getting them all to say, hey, it was my idea to put the shelf. Yeah, man, great idea. That is what made the difference. And that's how implementing my standards for the business became them implementing the standards for the business. Because now they're their standards. We all created this as a group now. And people have a tendency to read back things that they come up with.
Yeah.
More than your idea. If it's my idea, I'm gonna, statistically, I'm gonna stand behind it a lot more than if it's your idea. Right?
Yeah.
So by getting them involved in the process, now it's their idea. It's their baby. So that little exercise that I do with them, I did that with everything. With everything. Explain to them why these things are important, what the standard should be. Does anybody have a better idea or an idea? It doesn't have to be better, an idea that maybe we should consider. Oh yeah, no, maybe, whatever. And then, hey, we're gonna do it this way, we're gonna try it out, we're gonna see what's up. And then I'd analyze it, make decisions, and move forward. On to the next. Do you think I walked by that kitchen and saw a mess again?
No.
No, never saw a mess there again. It was beautiful, clean, organized, boom, 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 cups exactly how I want. Never again. And that was one piece. And then guess what? Tomorrow we work on another piece. Then another piece, another piece, another. And this is how we deal with customers. This is how we clean our trucks. And this is boom, 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 boom. All that adds up.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta stop, take the time, do something, get your team involved, make sure they understand it, make sure that we're good. Okay, move to the next step. Being involved statistically, and I'll have a paper on this, I'll show it to you,
Yeah.
is one of the most important things you can do for your staff, is get them in on things. Hey, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is what we're trying to do. It's more important than pay, statistically.
Wow.
I'll show it to you. It's more important than pay. So I did that all the time. We are a team. Everybody should know. It's not like Sam doesn't need to know, it's my thing. There were some things like that at very, very high level, but for the most part, everybody knew everything we were doing, why we're doing it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's an example of having high standards and implementing high standards and making it so that they all were helping me maintain and improve the standard. Not just it's me against the world because I have this vision and nobody gets it, and now I'm always continually fighting with my staff trying to get them to do things that I want them to do. It's very hard. And I experienced that early on as an entrepreneur. I did things the hard way. I micromanaged people. I had 8 employees and I felt like I was doing all the work. Why? Because I never did that.
Max and I actually ran out of time, so I couldn't get to the last question. But anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for getting to the end of the podcast. I had such a great time talking to him. And if you like that episode, go check out his book on Amazon. The link is going to be in the description, and it's one of my favorite books that I've ever read. And I'd honestly recommend this to anyone who's in business or wants to get into business, because he shows exactly how he started his business and then scaled it to 37 million. It's super valuable, so I'd highly recommend you go check it out.